Hey Charlie, how you doing?
Hey Scott, how's it going?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Bit wet in London today.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
How's things? You've
yeah, good.
been busy recently with different things, and now you've got this great show. So I think I spoke to you before the pandemic and all that kind of guff. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, did we?
has things been all right and stuff with you?
Yeah. It's been
Well,
it's been interesting time. We've me and my family have fared pretty well. We've been pretty lucky, and I actually got COVID for the first time last week.
oh
So
no.
yeah, but I feel all right. I'm doing all right. But
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers
yeah,
crossed. At least
yeah,
you're getting it now and not 2 years ago.
yeah,
Because now
yeah,
there's
exactly.
more protection, which is good.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Huge congrats on Kin.
Thank you.
I watched the first two episodes yesterday, and I had to stop myself at about 12:30 this morning from watching anymore because it's one of those shows. I was like, I need to know what's happening. I need to know, but I
Oh,
thought
great, great.
I'll keep it for like tonight and watch some more tonight. So tell me about the genesis of the show for you. How did it come across your desk, and what made it kind of stand out for you?
So interestingly enough, my wife is a producer on the show, and we were in. It was 2020. We were in the lockdown, and I was due to do something else in America. And my wife asked me to read it out of interest, see what I thought of the show, and I read it and loved it, and kind of felt like jealous that I wasn't going to be able to do it. And then the show I was in fell apart, and so I said to her, "Can you set up a call with the producers, with the other producers and the other creators, and see if they'd be interested in having me play Michael?" And they were, and so it was great, and it was great because I loved it so much, and it was kind of a passion project, but also because it meant in a very tricky time we were able to travel together and stay together as a family and go to Ireland and make the show.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really interesting kind of character stuff going on in this one, particularly for your character Michael, because not to go into too many spoilers, but he's just kind of come out of prison, and this family, he's going back to this family that he's known for all his life. I mean, what was the lure for you for this character? Because there's a real kind of interesting trajectory to where he starts to, I don't know the end yet, but where he ends up going, at least in the first two episodes.
Yeah, I found him to be intriguing for a lot of reasons. From an acting standpoint, the challenge that I was excited about was we meet one guy, but we very quickly learn that he's not who he used to be. But we do that without the aid of flashbacks. So that's done through things that other characters say, and obviously the other characters kind of interact with him, but predominantly through my performance, I guess. And that was exciting to me, was to play someone who is re-entering society with the intention of functioning at a completely different place as he used to. And then of course life happens and things don't go as you expect, and we'll see obviously where that takes him. So I was excited about that. I was, and just in terms of the tone of the show in general, I was just so fascinated by this idea that you've got this crime family who are engaging in activities that we as most audience members will not kind of agree with or identify with. But at the same time, the show is based around a family, and they are a traditional family in many senses, in that they have the same kind of dynamics, they have the same fallouts, they care and love each other, they hate each other at times, and if you took the crime element out of it, hopefully what you're left with is just a regular family. It's just that when you include the fact that their business is what it is, it's just becomes kind of A, fascinating, and B, hopefully compelling to watch.
Yeah, you just answered my next question, which was, I liked the fact that this was a family drama and the other stuff is kind of the outside bit. And like you say, you could change that to any other thing, and it still was about kind of the bonds of family, and family above all is what is most important. Obviously this one has a bit more blood and violence, I guess, than any other family, although families do get crazy. For you as an actor, what did playing Michael give you that you hadn't maybe done before? Did you see different facets in him that you thought, oh, I don't think I've done anything like this?
Well, I hadn't played it. I hadn't played a father on screen, and I wanted to. I really, really enjoyed reading his relationship with Anna, especially now that I am a dad. And so that was I was excited to explore that and to see what that was like. Accent. I mean, it's not really what you asked, but it's always, for me, it's, am I moved? Do I respond to, and am I moved by the material? And I don't tend to worry too much about the character, because I think if it's good writing, the character will be fascinating. And one of the things I liked about Michael was that I'm fascinated by what he doesn't say as much as what he does say, and in a family where everyone's got opinions and everyone's giving their input, and he just kind of sits back and kind of takes it all in and keeps his opinions to himself most of the time. I'm not, as a performer, I'm not afraid of that. I quite enjoy, I'm not sitting there counting my lines in a script and, wanting more. I quite enjoy that. And I did a similar thing with Boardwalk Empire. He's, the character in that doesn't say a huge amount, but he's very influential. But then, also just in general, acting challenges, things that I haven't done before. Dublin accent in Ireland, haven't worked in Ireland, in Dublin before, so all of that stuff.
Yeah. Is it trickier for you to do the Irish accent than it is to do your American accent? Because your American accent is very, very good. Do you find the Irish one harder or as easy, or?
No, it's just that I just go through a process where I just commit myself and I just work really, really hard. I actually found the American accent really, really hard. It took me years to do that. There was a long period of time when I was living in LA years ago. I was living in LA trying to get work, and I would audition for stuff, and I would regularly get the note back that they thought I was great, but could I come back in and could I work on my accent? And there was a period where I thought I might never play Americans, which is the problem when you're living in LA, because I couldn't really get it. And it wasn't until I was introduced to an amazing voice coach called Tim Monach, who's kind of literally wrote the book on it. And I was actually in New York at the time filming Boardwalk Empire, and that was coming to an end. And I knew I was going to have opportunities. I believed I was going to have opportunities in America because of that show. And I knew I had to get my accent right. And I decided I was going to find, I'd heard about this guy, Tim Monach, and I was going to find him, and I was going to convince him to work with me. And I was going to fly wherever he was. I was going to get there and see if I could get him to work with me for a couple of weeks every day. And just see if I could just nail it and just give it one last shot. I've been trying to do this for a year and just give it one last shot. And I discovered that he was working with Leonardo DiCaprio in New York, around the corner from where I was living. And so I went to see him every day for a few weeks, and that was kind of what I think what helped me just get to the other side of the issues I was having with it. Amazing how technical accents are.
Yeah, absolutely. You get to work with some amazing people in this. There's a really strong ensemble in this. Obviously, people know Aidan and Clare and Ciarán from, obviously Ciarán's been doing a lot of press recently for Belfast, so people know him quite a lot. But I guess it's great to work with people like that. And there's performers who in this as well who might not be names that people know, but everybody just is so incredible. Especially
really strong.
It must have been great to be amongst these people.
Yeah, and it was pretty. I mean, look, obviously, I know Aidan, I know Ciarán, and also Maria Doyle Kennedy. I've known for years, professionally. I mean, I haven't known them personally, but what was really cool was, I didn't know Claire, I didn't know Emmett, I didn't know Sam Keeley, I didn't know Yasmin, I didn't know the kids, and when we got on set and we started doing those family scenes, it was very evident to me quite quickly. I was like, oh wow, these these guys are top of their game. You know, this is going to be, and I was like, this family dynamic is fascinating, and I believe it, and that was really exciting.
And I mean, the TV is so, I mean, there's so much content out there right now. TV is so extraordinarily strong across the board. And obviously your show is going to be on different platforms, and there's so many different platforms now. Have you seen the kind of change? Because there's so many actors now who can find a lot of great work on TV. Have you found that in the shows that you've done, that TV is becoming stronger and stronger and such a big part of, you know, the collective of filmmaking?
Yeah, I mean, yes. And when I started acting, you know, like 20 years ago now, when I started acting, there was a big divide. There felt like there was a big divide between film actors and TV actors, as well as directors. You know, you either did TV or you did film. And actually, I remember I remember I wasn't in the first season of Boardwalk Empire, but when it was being made, I auditioned for one of the parts in the first season and didn't get it. But I remember being like, wow, this is Scorsese's doing television. That was a big moment. I remember that it was talked about, you know what I mean? Like, and now that's old hat. This is like there doesn't seem to be that divide anymore. You can go back and forth, and you can, you know, all of the great movie stars and directors are also doing interesting television. I think what we've learned is that it's just it's as much fun to tell a story over 6 to 10 hours as it is to tell a story over 2 hours, and they're almost like different art forms. And it's, if you're lucky enough to be someone who can be involved with both, then having both of those experiences is really, really enjoyable. So yeah, the tricky thing is that, as you say, there's so much content, there's so many platforms, that things, good quality television can underperform, and not many people will get to see it. I'm amazed now, like when I started acting, there were, at any given time, there was two. Let's just talk about TV for the moment. At any given time, there was 2 or 3 shows that everyone was talking about, and everyone watched them. And it was appointment television. Every Friday night or Saturday night, whenever it was on, the whole country was watching it, or the whole, you know, all over the world, people were watching these shows. And as a result, the stars of those shows were overnight, you know, massive stars.
Yeah.
And now I've got text group. I'm on a WhatsApp group with a bunch of friends, most of whom are actors. And if you send a text message saying, what are people watching? You're liable to get 50 different things. And most of them, everyone else hasn't heard of. You know, it's mad. I mean, it's kind of great in some way, but it's also a little bit, I feel like sometimes when I go online to watch something, it's like a bit like walking in a bookshop. I just feel overwhelmed. There's just too much.
Yeah, for sure. As a final question, then, before I let you go, I like your zebra picture behind you.
It's not, I'm in a rented.
It's a nice zebra picture. But
I'm in London doing a TV show, and this is a rental, but it is really cool.
I see.
Amazing. It's amazing.
I was it would have been quite serendipitous if it had been an elephant, because I did want to ask you about the elephant in the room, if I'm able to, since that all the other elephants are talking about things. You are a very good lawyer, Mr. Charlie Cox.
Very good liar.
Yeah,
very good liar.
Very good lawyer. I think it's safe to talk about Spider-Man now. People are so excited to. I mean, the reaction in the screen that I was in when you popped up was just sensational, and it was just from you putting your cane down. Everyone was just like, "Holy crap!" And also, people had kind of talked about it for a while. You know, Spider-Man was in a hot pickle with lawyers. Did he need a lawyer? Well, Chick Clit should be Matt Murdock, and as it was. How? Because I can imagine you only worked on that for, you know, you're in one fantastic scene. How long ago did you get the call, and how long have you had to lie for it? Not to the same degree as Andrew Garfield has had to lie about it, but still, nevertheless, you've had to keep it quiet. Is it nice to talk about it now?
It is. It's a relief. It's a relief to be able to talk about it. Yeah. It was a getting that phone call was a life-changing moment. Really. I mean, for me, it was my involvement with that character and the MCU was dead and buried. I hadn't heard anything for a couple of years, I think, and so I'd moved on. And I had a great experience and was very, very grateful for the time that I had, but it was incredibly unexpected and out of the blue. And actually, I did a play in 2019 with Tom Hiddleston, and Kevin Feige came to see our play, and I went and shook hands with him and said hi, and he said how much he enjoyed the play and blah blah, but never mentioned Daredevil or anything like that. So that was just kind of, for me, so it turns out he's a very good liar as well. So yeah, it was mad. It's been a mad. I got the call in midway through lockdown, summer of 2020, and we filmed it I filmed Spiderman March or something of 21, I guess. So I had to keep it a secret for almost a year. And of course it didn't come out, so over a year. It didn't come out until it's been over a year,
didn't it? Yeah. Mad. So yeah,
it's been intense.
Yeah, and also Vincent's now come back, which I think we're allowed to talk about in
and that was fun because we had I can't remember exactly what it was, but he texted me at some point and it was like, I know something, do you know something? And I was like, I do know something, but I wasn't sure he was talking about the same thing. I was like, I might know something. What do you know?
But hopefully, we might. Kevin Feige has come out publicly and said that you are all part of the MCU now. So fingers crossed, you might actually get to do it again when as you said, you've kind of shut the door. That wouldn't take much convincing, I would imagine, if they were to come to you with an idea of how to get Matt Murdock back in the MCU by himself or with somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point I expect to be involved in some capacity. Otherwise, it would be a bit of a weird one scene moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know much. I know a little. And what I do know, I'm very excited about. But
you're back to lying again.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's gonna be, there's a chance it was gonna be the next 10 years of my life. It's like,
yeah,
you have to get
good. Fingers crossed, dude. You're great as Daredevil, so fingers crossed. Thank you so much for your time today. Absolute pleasure.
No worries.
Good luck with this.
I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey